All right, it's Saturday on Your View. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I am Veronica Dan Ikboy, and as usual, I'm not here alone. I have my beautiful co-host, and today we have Tobi joining us.
Yo. I am so happy to be here. This is my first time joining the Saturday crew. I got expo yesterday. You know the way God is. When I said I was coming on Saturday, I was like, oh, how am I going to engage? I know Vera and I go way back, but like the new faces, and then God designed it yesterday to introduce me ahead to them on a very wonderful level. Like, so I feel like I know everybody already, and I'm really happy to be here.
It's good to have you here. So how was your week?
So the week was good. Today I have one of my mentors' birthday. Like, it took me from zero idea on real estate to where we are now. Happy birthday, Dr. Sunday Olorunsheyi, PhD, studied for his own doctor. And I bless God for your life. Thank you for being supportive. It was, when if you get a good mentor, it just shortens the span and your learning curve. You will still make some mistakes, but Dr. Sunday Olorunsheyi, happy birthday. He helped. It really helped. It really helped. I cannot even say...
Especially your focus.
Yes, I can't say otherwise. It's been phenomenal.
This is Fash.
So I'm going there today.
Right. Enjoy. It's good. It was good to see you guys on the show yesterday, though. But how was your week?
It was good. I felt truly honored yesterday being by Tope's side. I told her I've been watching her for so long. So being by her side yesterday, I got a lot of tips to help me do this better. Yeah, my week was good, and I'm looking forward to a lovely evening. I liked my children's result. I'm so grateful to God.
Yay!
Yeah, they all impressed us. And so we're looking forward to hanging out this evening.
Yeah. Right, Tobi.
Okay, so my week was great. Tomorrow, I'm hosting a book launch. So one of the things I also do is that I anchor events, corporate gigs, basically. And tomorrow, we're having a book launch somewhere in Lekki, and I look forward to the conversations that would happen tomorrow. My week was great. We had basketballs with the children, holidays and all that. But I'm grateful to be here. It was such a delight to be on set yesterday, too. So we move.
Always on the move. Well,
How you doing?
An intense week because I'm a part of a fellowship program organized by Oxford University London. So we had an intense session during the week, and it was also enlightening, especially how to tell stories better. So it was a good one for me. Yes, work.
Journalist?
Yes,
That's a good
work is there. Yeah, pressure of work, but then it was an opportunity to also look through the eyes of other persons how they tell their stories, and that also is about capacity building, which helped me, or which is helping me in the cause. And so for my weekend, I'm looking forward to having a good rest because my week was intense. I was telling Tokwe earlier that I no longer know how to rest as it is because of so much that you have to handle or deal with. But this weekend, I'm looking forward to resting, actually. But then let's quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll look through the papers. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, Life itself is a story, a recollection of events that shape one's journey on Earth. Do you want to share parts of these stories with us on Your View? This will enable people to share in your experience and learn valuable life lessons from them. So you can also get answers to troubling questions and possible solutions to any challenge you're facing. You can do this anonymously or otherwise. So send such touching stories to us on Your View at tvccommunications.tv. I'll take that again. Your View at tvccommunications.tv. Tell us your story today. Share your burning issues with us on Your View on TVC. Right, now let's quickly go to look at the newspaper headlines. And I will begin with the Nation newspaper. The major story here, Insecurity, Tinubu vows to use state power to secure Nigerians. Federal government procures 51 air platforms to fight terrorism, banditry, change in military doctrines, practices a must. Those are some riders following that story. And then on the top corner, we have 7 oil-producing states get 70.3 billion naira FAAC windfall. Delta receives highest allocation of 23 billion naira for June. Then another story here, Emefiele's arraignment set for Tuesday. London court orders confiscation of $130 million from Ibori, risks 8-year jail term, ex-governor vows appeal. Article 2 Presidential Elections Petitions Court declare me winner because of 21 states' results. Obi, Labour Party, PDP insists APC candidate deputy not qualified. And finally, on the front page of The Nation, Aketi Dekankwe says wife on governor's birthday. Who has what story here?
So I have the major headline on insecurity challenges. So our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's still, I'm still getting used to not putting Asiwaju, because when you put president, you don't need to put Asiwaju.
Well, the title still remains, but for now, he's President Bola Tinubu.
President Bola Tinubu vows to use state security to secure Nigerians. He spoke about the fact that he's, as commander-in-chief, is prioritizing and he plans to deploy the entire machinery of the state to ensure security of people and property. He also mentioned giving accolades to his predecessor, working tirelessly towards necessary reforms to enhance the security infrastructure, but he said we must now pick up the pace, and he mentioned the collaboration between Nigeria and Chad being very important in being able to aid this improved security. Speaking through Special Advisor on Special Duties and Communication, Mr. Dele Alake, he said that Nigeria must be brave enough to reform the military doctrines and practice, that if we do not face conventional army on the traditional field of battle, we cannot contend, if we don't change the system, because currently what our army is trained to do is conventional battle. You know, you're fighting someone that you can see, but now we're fighting people that are using mobile phones, elusive, irregular forces, and it's not the usual warfare. So we must change how we are approaching it. Well, we're really, every Nigerian is concerned about insecurity. So anything we hear, we're just waiting to see results show up concerning this.
True, true. So I want to quickly take this story on the 7 oil-producing states getting 70.3 billion naira federal allocation, account allocation committee, rather, Federation Account Allocation Committee. And 7 states, oil-producing states, were said to have gotten a combined check valued at 70.408 billion, being the allocation for the June 2023 revenue distribution by the Federation Account Allocation Committee on Thursday. And they said, according to the report, Edo State got the highest. Ondo followed, Anambra State also followed. And the remaining oil-producing states, Abia, Imo, also received some monies. Now, we are at a time or at a point where Nigerians are going through a tough time, as it is, because of the fuel subsidy removal. And so persons are beginning to ask questions, or persons are saying, begin to ask your governors, these allocations, how are you spending the money, such that it gets to the very last person in the state. Everybody needs some form of relief as it stands. If you are getting so much, we need to have some detailed account, transparency with how you are spending these monies, such that it cushions the effect of whatever pain or pinch anyone is facing in the country. So that
priority.
yes.
And I
Yes,
think
there are
it's
sectoral areas where people are having their various issues. They are the poorest of the poor. Yes, government is talking about palliatives and all. But state governments, what are you doing to cushion the
I don't want my
effect?
state governor to be
Now-
buying vehicles or saying he's fixing houses. I would
Yeah.
rather he's putting that money into where it will get to
Now
the
there
majority.
are some states that have come out to say that, okay, this is what we are going to do. Kwara State, for instance, Edo State, for instance, too, have come out to say, okay, we are reducing the number of working days. And also we are bringing out buses that people can take to their various locations of work. But then, how do they judiciously use this money? It's time that Nigerians begin to follow the money as they hear their states get this allocation. That's the issue on the ground for some persons. Does anybody have any story on any other story?
Yes.
On the front page.
London court orders confiscation of $130 million from Ibori.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, the court in London ordered that the sum of 101.5 million pounds, now this one says pounds, right, which is equivalent to about $130 million to be confiscated from former Delta State Governor James Ibori. And we would recall also, the article explains further that in 2012, Ibori was also convicted in London for fraud and money laundering and was sent to jail for 13 years. And after serving for about 5 years, Ibori returned to Nigeria in 2017. And so this is coming up again after that.
So the expectation is this, you know, there's this argument, is the money for Edo State or for, is money for Delta State or for the Federation? And I'm happy that we're getting a resolution. Let the money come in. People still appreciate him, celebrate him, and he's still a major political force. I don't get it. We need to really, we need to put our money where, if our heart is in growth of Nigeria, then we must call out anybody that has any trace of scandal that is related to corruption, because they are the reasons that we are where we are today. Buying fuel for how much you are buying it
Persons who
right
enable
now.
these people, they are the ones that will always celebrate. If you are not benefiting from something, of course, you will speak the way Tokpa is speaking. But there are those who are benefiting, will not speak the way you speak.
And majority are not benefiting. That's the thing. Majority are not benefiting.
You may not know.
How can majority
I even have a problem.
You cannot
I have a problem with
You have no idea.
million, billion.
Eh.
Anytime I hear it, my heart to go.
Let me take this before you move to the next paper.
This was even in London.
The Aketi story, yeah?
Yes, you're going to take it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So there's been a little bit of apprehension concerning the governor's health. That's the governor of Ondo State. That's Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. He's had a bit of health challenge, and his wife came out to post a picture of herself and the governor saying, Aketi de Kankpe. We're praying for his recovery, and we're happy that he handed over power to the deputy. So the deputy is still running.
I think that it wasn't necessary. So we're still looking through the newspaper headlines. This time we're going to Saturday Punch. And the major story here says parents face tough times as school raises fees. And some riders. Federal government increases Unity College's tuition. Unilag jacks up fees from 19,000 to 190,250 naira. Private schools plan further hikes, say 50% increment no longer realistic. And at the top corner, we have APC crisis. Oyetola, ex-Senate spokesman Bashiru favored to replace Umishuri. I returned missing $8,000 in Mecca to avoid Allah's wrath, a pilgrim speaking there. NFF failed to fulfill promise made to me while on sickbed, ex-Eaglet speaking. A boyfriend abandoned me with pregnancy despite my blindness. Single mom is speaking. Online herbal remedies, quacks, desperate patients take over Facebook as healthcare collapses. Then Baba Jesha marks 1 year in prison, 15 more to go. Who has what story here?
I have a story. On page, I think it's page 4, yeah. Parents face tough times as schools raise fees. So there was a lot of apprehension. Let me take the headline and explain. The management of the University of Lagos, Akoka reportedly increased fees for undergraduates, and is crazy. This is extreme. I mean, but it says here that from 19,000 to 190, 1,000% increase. Well, for medical students, and then those doing studio and laboratory, about 140, art subjects, about 100,000. But it's outrageous. It's so much. So sometime this week, a friend of mine had a panic attack because her son's school increased fees. And when she kept shouting and shouting, we checked and saw that it was just a 23,000 added to it. But that just felt like, Ronke, if I slap your face, what do you mean? What do you mean by just? But then it's a tough time, and then we are calling on the government to see how to mediate, because we won't blame the school owners. I mean, these guys run on. It's not about just bus fees. They run on fuel in their generators. They have to increase staff salaries. Staff members are resigning. They're also looking for how to, better their own standard of living. So it's a tough position for the school owners. But if anything above a 50% sounds outrageous. So I feel, yeah, we've got to. I'd like to know your views, because it sounds outrageous.
But this is government institutions too.
Yes.
So government started it, and then these private schools have also taken it up.
Yes. It's not an outrageous thing. Well, the reality is, how are they supposed to fund the structures they have? How? If everybody, imagine a teacher is being paid the same school fees till they finish the third term.
Salary.
They cannot come the same salary. When they come back for the new session, you cannot expect them to be collecting the same salaries again. It's not. It doesn't make.
Doesn't add up.
Cannot.
But do you know we stand the risk of homeschooling increasing in Nigeria?
Of course.
We'll find options now.
So how will the schools cope if parents decide to train their children at home?
In fact, they might go the way of even reducing their staff strength. Because some parents may not be able to pay these fees.
Those things
so how did they run their business? People are in business to make profit.
Do you mean they don't work in school?
Those things, all those work from home, reduced staff strength, can hardly work in a school because of the class size. So if a teacher is supposed to man 12 children,
yes, exactly.
a teacher is supposed to man 12 children, and you say, okay, or maybe 2 teachers for 20 children, and you say because of the harsh economy,
the workload,
1 person to 20 children.
It might get to that point if you want to keep running your business.
The work, schools might hardly take that option, because it just means some children will get attention and some children will remain that way.
Have you gone to some schools to understand how they run their business?
I know it's tough.
People are cutting corners. That's the truth. All right, I have this story talking about online herbal remedies. A lot of Nigerians are looking for quick fix because of out-of-pocket treatment is quite expensive. Yes, we're talking about schools. Now people are resorting to herbal remedies where you cannot measure the quantities, what is required. And then online, they have taken over the online space where you go on Facebook, for instance, you see some persons promoting their businesses. They now cut out faces of some people using AI to generate some information. Yes. And you think that, oh, someone is endorsing this business, and then you click, you want to buy, you want to purchase things that you do not know, because you see some figures endorsing it. They have manipulated it in such a way that you think that this person is endorsing the business.
So I saw a disclaimer, because I follow Lekpasho's boss, and I love that story of how she lost weight. Some people were using her journey to market weight loss products that were herbal, and she didn't use them. So she had to come out to say, I did not use this product, I did not endorse this product, but they were putting her picture to push. So we need to investigate.
So there are lots of quacks. That's what the story is about. There are lots of quacks. People have to be careful. Yes, you're desperate to find a solution, and we know how out-of-pocket treatment is. HMOs are there. You need to subscribe to HMOs to make things easier for you. That's why persons need to get to understand what HMOs can do at this time. Exactly. Yes, you pay some monies, but on the long run, it is going to help at the end of the day. Who has any other story?
I returned missing $8,000 in Mecca to avoid Allah's wrath. So this lady is a 58-year-old woman. Her name is Aisha Nanuche. She's from the north. And she went on pilgrimage in Mecca. And when she got to the mosque, she found out that she saw 8,000. She saw a purse, and she just picked it, that whatever. When she got to her room. She opened it and then she saw money. And instead of her, you know, the average Nigerian would just maybe think about what to do, immediately she went to Sheikh Ahmed Kanuma, mentioning the name so that we understand that there's still good in Nigeria.
There are several.
Right?
There are many.
Well, good people.
So, and the person made sure that the owner of the money was found and the money was returned intact. And when she was asked that, why did you return the money? She said she went to Mecca for pilgrimage to seek Allah's blessing. So if she had taken that money, she would have gotten the
deny
word
her of her blessing.
Allah, yes. And the amazing thing is that she has 7 children. So in my head, I'm thinking about what that money would have done for her if with 7 children. But she
with her
chose,
faith,
yes,
she would
she
be
chose to
blessed.
do
Of
right.
course,
we need
for
to
this
do
act.
God.
We need to celebrate such
yes.
people.
Yes.
Thank
All right.
you.
Any other story there on the punch? Okay, let's quickly move now to Saturday Sun. And the major story here, Atiku Obi joined forces against Tinubu at tribunal, lists reasons president's victory shouldn't stand. Ex-VP urges tribunal to uphold INEC's declaration that he won in 21 states. Bayelsa monarch, King Dakolo's bombshell, presidency condoning oil theft in Niger Delta. If Tinubu wants practice curbed, he can do it in 14 days. Interesting. All right. Why couples should have lots of sex during ovulation? Abayomi Ajayi, fertility expert, is speaking. I'm reading what is here.
Sorry.
All right. Osun Court jails banishes 26-year-old man for stealing 920 naira. Lagos to close Alaka Kostini Gomu section of Iko Bridge. Then Southeast, governors, Igbo leaders deploy new strategy to end sit-at-home. Army vows to crush criminals in region. CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria, to Tinubu, Nigerians are suffering. Slow down harsh policies, CITN cautions president. And Senate may unveil Tinubu's ministerial list Tuesday. Who has what story?
I have a story. Osun Court jails banishes 26-year-old man for stealing 920 naira. And so the magistrate court sitting in Osogbo, Osun State on Friday sentenced a 26-year-old man, Amechi Paul, to 15 days imprisonment for stealing 920 naira. And so he stole the money in a filling station. And upon interrogation, he found out that he was guilty, you know, of the offense. And he pleaded guilty, actually, and requested that the court should have mercy. So the mercy was sending him to jail for 15 days. And so in my head, when I read the story, I was like, okay, so people that steal more than that amount, what is the government doing, or what are the courts doing to
Speed up the process
you know?
of their trial.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
really sad because at the end of the day, the people that have what we consider smaller, they steal smaller amounts or seemingly smaller crimes tend to serve long time. They serve a long
the
term.
long arm of justice gets to them quickly
Yes.
than those who are... Anyway, let's
Because
leave
this
it
article
there.
was quoting section, this one under section, subsection, this
top
one
920
under
naira.
Naira.
That is the poverty level kind of stealing.
Right.
Okay. I wanted to take the story on the King Dakolo, who is the king Agada IV of, I cannot pronounce this, in Bayelsa.
Pronounce what you can.
I cannot pronounce it in Bayelsa area, but he was speaking at a book launch, and he said that the federal government isn't serious about fighting oil theft, that they have critical information with the right information, and the critical issues can be dealt with, that they've seen that our government isn't really serious about handling those challenges. You know, these people are in the area, that's what they do. He said that over the past 67 years, there's been mismanagement of our oil resources, that oil and gas resources have been so poorly managed to the point that Nigeria hardly know how many barrels Nigeria is actually producing. He said, so it's like you have a priceless commodity, but you don't seem to care how it is dug out of the ground and how it is sold.
That's my concern. How is he using his position?
He doesn't have power now. You know, traditional rulers don't have power.
Who says?
Well, not constitutionally, anyway.
Yes, we are not talking about constitution, but there are ways that you can influence these things. We have seen sometimes that government engaged with these people. These traditional rulers. So what are we saying? What did you say at that point?
So when he was asked concerning the increasing oil theft, he said that the Nigerian government only needs 14 days if they really want to do it. That he said the psychology of the military and that the military is, he said, according to, let me quote him right, he said that if the president wants to deal with it, 14 days is too much, he will stop it. The same military you talk about are not made of dumb people. They're made of trained professionals. They are not fools. So if the president wants them to be effective on their job, give them what they need, give them the matching orders, and it's not just about coming to TV.
And the president has done that. The president gave them the matching orders.
So we're
this
waiting.
matter of oil theft.
Last year we saw a lot of videos. They went viral, videos of how the oil was being stolen in a mechanized, massive way that is not. This is not crude local ways, and there were speculation that security people must have been involved in how those were deployed.
Have we forgotten what happened earlier this year?
Even this year.
Yes, a vessel was
found, and the vessel had been arrested twice before.
Again.
Yes, was even burnt.
Honestly,
and then the 10 senators say we shouldn't be burning vessels. So that, anyway, for investigation and all of that, but it is well, it is well. Let me leave it at that. I was going to take this story. Senate may unveil Tinubu's ministerial list Tuesday. Recall that Nigerians have been waiting.
Hallelujah.
Nigerians have been
please, we are all celebrating, don't worry. It was a spontaneous hallelujah.
And we've been getting few updates.
Just wait till
let's
you see
wait
the
till
list
Tuesday.
itself, because we know that lists fly here and there. But then they are saying that by Tuesday, the list should be unveiled and they'll give a speedy hearing and perhaps screening for these persons. But the question has been that, how do we ensure that we have square pegs in square holes? Yes, you want to just say, okay, ask them a few questions, bow and go. But how are we not ensuring that we have portfolios for these persons such that we ensure that if you are in this field, that is the portfolio you are given, and not just any field, because we recall that the last administration, a minister came out to say that he did not even understand the portfolio he was given. So as shameful as that sounds, we are trying to avoid that moving forward. So how do we improve upon it? That's the question some Nigerians are asking. So let's move forward quickly. Okay, to Saturday Tribune. As to students kick over hike university fees, UNILAG announces 400% increment over federal universities to follow suit. We saw it coming and warned as the president is speaking. Atiku, in final address, says, INEC admitted I won in 21 states, but changed it to 12. Really? UK court orders Ibori to pay back £101.5 million loot immediately or get 8 years jail term. I will fight up to the highest court, says Ibori. Federal government spent 23 trillion naira on fuel subsidy in 18 years. Adeni Kinju, a UI prof, is saying that. Thief from Adamawa court digging for cables at Lagos airport. We can't compare Buhari's government with this one. Things are very hard now. Ado Street Beggar is speaking, who has our story here.
So we took the news on the UK court orders for Ibori, but we've taken it previously.
Earlier, so nobody has any
And also the varsity story we've taken.
Okay, we've taken that area. So
I was really interested in the cocoa farmers story. I have investments in the agricultural sector and we're planting yams in one of my estates. But the story would only, and I think that many people don't understand that there's a lot of money to be made in agriculture, especially with exports. But the information here is that based on the new FX policy, a lot of cocoa farmers will make a lot more money. Now, people didn't used to take their money through the official means because they feel like the dollars that they will be getting will be given to them at the official rate, which was different from the black market rate. But with the current policy, cocoa farmers will benefit. Cocoa prices would make sense internationally as well as, and we will be getting more inflow of FX into the country. So I have uncles in Akure that have cocoa farm. So I'm going to remind them and greet them. I'll reconnect with them now because the season is about to become very, very,
juicy.
Yes.
Juicy.
And there are many people that is a major thing for Akure people. And I'm sure there are people in Lagos that are languishing and suffering, but their grandfather has cocoa farms. In Akure, in those states. They don't know the value. Go back to go and find out what is the state of your, because cocoa trees last for years. So if you go back there and probably the weed and all of that, you'll be shocked that you make more money than your salary and blue tie job, I mean your white collar job that you are forming in Lagos if you go back to the bush.
Interesting. Right, I would have loved to take this story. Thief from Adamawa caught digging for cables at Lagos Airport just after the cables and the light.
All the lights were
walked on, so he was caught. He came all the way from Adamawa to come and steal in Lagos. Why do we do this to ourselves is the question I want to leave with us. We see some people removing some of these things that the government will spend so much to do for our own benefit. And then we begin to steal them at the end of the day. We have to leave things here now. Our time is up. Next, we discuss our hot topic. We had a conversation yesterday on the show where a woman was asking if she should break her introduction and go ahead with the man who she had always liked, but he never made a move until she got together with someone else. Today, we got another true life story where a lady is experiencing the same issue with her ex in her marriage. She had a friendship situation with her husband when they were young, but separated due to change of environment. She met someone else in the university and they dated for 2 years, but this one left to further his studies abroad. Now she's married to her secondary school friend now because they met again in church. But her university friend is back in the country and unfortunately got a job in the same company as her. Now the guy is disturbing her that he wants a comeback and her husband is aware. What should she do? That's the question. Resign from her high-paying job? Now join the conversation and call us on 081 07641 679 or 090 241 63440 or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag #YourView on TVC. Ladies, she needs answers from you. Should she resign? Her husband is aware. There are challenges in the marriage as a result of this matter. But what should she do? Tope is smiling, so I was thinking with you.
So for me, I think that a lot of times we know what is right. We just want someone, we know what is right. Our heart wants to do what is wrong, and we want someone to validate us so that we can do what is wrong.
Okay.
When I read this story, that's what came to my head. You're already married to someone. 100% your commitment should be to that marriage. It's not a case of you're not a baby. You made a decision consciously to marry this person. This was your first love.
Very so. So for you saying that she's not a baby, she may not be as matured to know how to handle these things. That is why she's asking questions.
So I feel because when you do as a coach, when you're coaching someone, you know people that come with an idea of what they want as answers. Okay. Then they are hoping you will revalidate that answer for them. Obviously, you are not going to resign, not in this economy. It doesn't make sense. You are a fool. You can control. You must improve on your ability. Adults, you find yourself in another situation. The principles of life are the same. That's why I started by saying that you know what is right from what is wrong. When you are married, you will have challenges. You must be committed to the marriage regardless of those challenges. You will find a way to resolve it. In this case, you are being propositioned by your ex. You might go into another company and you meet your spec, the one that you were dreaming of when you were a teenager, the one that you were thinking of when you were seeing all those meals and bones, and then you did not marry the person. You now meet the person in your office and the person is doing totori. You will hold yourself. You will hold yourself as a mature woman who is committed to her marriage. No excuses. She never read it. That's why she's asking questions.
Are you not being harsh like this?
She just said her mind out.
Right. Okay, let me get your view on this.
So I don't want to sound exactly like her, but I share the same view. I read it and I was asking, I mean, you're married. Anybody's ex can come from anywhere. And I believe any woman knows how to get a man she doesn't want off her back. You don't need counsel, you don't need prayers. You just need to decide on if your marriage is important to you. If you consider that marriage important to you, then you should know what to do. I don't even see why anybody needs to resign. Although when you have temptation around you, it's just nice to flee.
But he keeps wooing her at work.
He's wooing her.
He keeps coming to speak to her.
Why is she letting him do that? Why is she letting him do
some men
that?
have their ways around this thing.
Veronica, any man, some men even like women that other men have. There are some men that will not ask you out unless they see ring or they see that somebody else. You have to be fine in other people's eyes before they now agree that, yes, you are up to it. So it's just normal. And if we go through this and we have to open up, it happens to women every day. Sometimes your spec might be a person who get money. Another time your spec might be somebody who is so emotional, somebody who is there to say, why is this on your face? I mean, you look. Somebody who is so... Some people want attention, depending on personality and love languages. So it might not even be an ex. There's always somebody that is waiting to do what your husband did not do. So, I mean, it's just for her to decide. If your marriage is important to you...
That decision is tough. That's why she's asking.
No, but why must you put your marriage at risk for somebody who just went and came back and, why would you want to waste everything you've built over a whim? I see this as a whim. Do
you know whether she really was not as committed to the marriage because the desirable was not available, and so she stuck with what was available being desirable.
So that means
she decided, okay, let me go ahead with what is available to me. So I may not have desired this person. And now perhaps she's seeing this as, actually, I didn't desire this person.
So that means the ex is not the problem.
She's the problem.
The ex is not the problem. The ex just happens to be, in my own case, maybe a victim or a very available option. The marriage is the problem. So her and her husband need to sit down. Maybe she married for the wrong reasons. Maybe as they grew in the marriage, their taste and preference.
I'm just thinking about it because she's asking advice whether she should resign. It might not be that she wants to walk away from
her marriage.
It might be that she's willing to sacrifice her job for her marriage.
But my question would be, how long will she have to run? Why would she keep running? So if
she's trying to create a safe space for herself.
If she goes to another place of work now and another guy shows up, will she resign again?
How follows her?
That's why I said she may not be mature enough to handle this pressure that is coming to her. It may not be that she's running away. She had a connection. My husband would say, old firewood, now in the bond pass. Now, so she had a connection with this person initially, and the person returned. So it may not be a situation of she running away, or for how long will she run away. Now she's trying to create a space where this person will not be. And so if she goes to a different organization, he's not there. So she may find out that she can cope.
How do you know that he's not there?
Somebody else may be there. But because initially, calm down now, but because she did not have an initial connection with whoever it is, she can manage, perhaps, that. Because for her now, it's a matter of what we shared coming back. And I'm trying to, hang on, and she's trying to manage all of it to the extent that, how did the husband know? Did she have a conversation with the husband? Maybe she had a conversation with the husband and they are having issues. Now the pressure is much. If she continues going to that office, the husband knows that she will keep meeting this person. And so might continue to strain the marriage. Are we considering that?
Yes, Veronica. We are, Veronica.
And so, trust is a major issue here.
So, no, I don't think trust is an issue.
No, because I'm going to the office, so and the husband knows, because there's already a strain in her marriage.
So I feel like in addressing the strain in a marriage is to commit to the marriage. I feel that there will always be strain in the marriage if the man has a bit of fear that, you have an emotional attachment to another person, your ex, that would always cause a strain. And I don't need to see the ex every day. If the ex is putting you under pressure, it will still put you under pressure on WhatsApp. It will call you. It might stalk you. It might stalk you.
This kind of ex that went to resume where you work.
In her department.
It might not be planned.
Veronica, you know what I feel? I feel like there's already a vacancy. There's an empty space in this lady and in the marriage. So the ex is not the problem. Her and her husband need to fix the problem. Because if there was no vacancy, maybe 1,000 ex would have come to her front and she might not have noticed them.
But there will always be vacancies in marriage. Marriages go through these things. That's what, there will be times when, even for, I married my love. It was a shocking love. But in the past 13 plus years, I've had moments where I just look at him and I'm like, oh God.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
As in, like, I'm just like, God.
So for me,
imagine if during that moment, something now goes wrong or I'm exposed to a weak point in my life. It would happen. So you mustn't use the weak moments to judge your entirety of your marriage. So for me, if you are committed to the marriage, even if you did not fall in love with the person before you married, there are people that have arranged marriage and decide, I'm committed to this marriage. I've arranged it. My parents said there is a good family and is a good man. I will be committed. I will stay. And if I'm having temptations within the space, I'll tell my husband, you have to help me through this. Not that I'm going to be looking for solution. I'll tell my wife over and over again, I am a bit tempted by this. This guy is entering.
Tobi is pinching me.
Please, Tobi, come in.
I feel like the fact that you're married to somebody does not mean temptations won't come.
Exactly.
And now,
Yes. So if she's married to this person,
she's married,
and
actually.
another person is bringing up stuff, I want you.
Clean.
She must be able to stand her ground to say, guys, stop it. And men love ladies, or let me not generalize. Sometimes men want, if you're running away and saying, it's calling me, they'll be,
No, it may not be that. This thing,
Veronica, let me finish.
you're finished.
There would be pressure to want you. But if you go and say, please, I'm married, you need to understand that this is the situation. You know, they would pull back for
You know, there are men that when you say that to them, they will tell you that you are just, that they understand. Let me.
And another thing I used to think before. Another thing I used to think before I got married was that once I get married, guys do not look at me again because I have a ring. But now, I see some things and I'm like,
all right, we have a caller on the line. Kayode is calling from Aja. Kayode, good morning. Oh, Kelvin, sorry. Kelvin, good morning. I apologize for that. Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
You see this issue now, I'm watching your program right now. You see this issue now,
Yes.
For the lady, I would advise, if that kind of situation happen, she should just give chance.
So,
Because
she should give chance?
Yes, on
How?
that working place. On that working place.
She should resign?
Yes, she should just resign to avoid problems.
Okay.
Yes, because
Why?
it might
What
bring
kind of
issue in their
problem?
relationship.
Yeah.
Because you said, like, from your story, you said that she got married to a schoolmate in primary school.
A school
Then let her ex-boyfriend or her former guy that who is dating her in the university later came back and who is the manager in the company that she's working at.
They work in the same department. He's not the manager from the story.
Okay, they're working in the same department. And the guy is still calling her to come back together. She should just give time to avoid problem in the relationship.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Ever
Your position.
advise a woman to leave her job.
In this Nigeria.
No, I wouldn't, because an empowered woman will still make a better decision every time than a woman that does not have anything. You see, this guy, if she was a full-time housewife and has nothing to do, it's easy for the man to say, I'll help you, or I have a job, I just came back, and I have a certificate in all
I
of
am
this.
wondering.
I just feel like...
Now, I'm looking at the office scenario, for instance. I am wondering what mechanism they have to protect women who find themselves in this kind of situation.
That's another good one.
Yes, what policies do you have if you feel that
harassment.
this is sexual harassment?
This is sexual harassment, then she should report it as one.
So does that organization have a mechanism where they can protect you and you can prove that this is sexual harassment, and then they follow through with investigation and know how to resolve it for her? That is one way she can go about it if she is not ready to resign that job. I am not saying she should resign, but I'm looking at the state of her maturity to handle issues like this. That is why she's seeking help. Has she explored this move of what the policy with sexual harassment in the organization is? Have you explored that? If you haven't, you might want to try that if you know that you cannot resign your job. The next thing is, look at yourself. Sometimes we need to speak to ourselves and hear yourself speaking to yourself to know that, oh, I am falling short here and that this is dangerous for my home. The consequences, talk to yourself. You are hearing and you know that the consequences of whatever I do, this is what it is. Sure. Are you ready to face that consequence? Sometimes we do not understand that conversation with yourself is very important. Where we have another call. Aliu. Aliu calling from Abuja. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
You know, when we talk of marriage,
yes,
marriage is the thing of the mind. if you are going into marriage, prepare your mind. You know there are many challenges involved in marriage. I had a scenario almost similar to this.
Yeah.
When her ex come to meet her after marriage, they are working in the same department just like this one. What she did was, first, she warned him never to come close to her again.
Yeah.
Secondly, when he came, he insisted. You know, men, he insisted. The next thing she did was, she slapped him. And she did not do that just between the two of them. She made sure people were there before she did that. And she told him never to come close to her. She is married now. So the decision now is on her. Yes, it's on her. So she should prepare for it. If you are not prepared for marriage, please don't even, because there are challenges in marriage.
Absolutely.
Challenges. If you are not ready, don't even try it. That's just it. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Aliyu, for your contribution. I like the aspect of preparation. And preparation is not just about, oh, what do I need in my home? Mind preparation.
Am I ready for this?
Are you mental preparation to ensure that you can handle the pressure? It is not just about, oh, just me and my husband. There are external forces that would pressure you. How do you have the capacity to hold your own through it all when these pressures come? And this is one of it, where, like Tobi mentioned earlier, that she felt that, okay, when she's married, nobody would speak to her again and all of that, and she's getting that, but she's knowing how to manage it such that it does not get into your head. Some people, it gets into their head. Oh, they may not be getting, oh, you look good, you're beautiful from their husbands, but someone out there is saying, oh, you're so beautiful, how you dress, affirmation, and all those words of affirmation or even gifts, and they are feeling cool, and so it's getting to their head. Now, this thing is sips in silently.
And then you begin to,
you start feeling discontent within, you start reacting. You start reacting, and you see that you start resenting your partner. What did I even see in this person in the first place? How did I get to this point in the first place? But until you are conscious of the fact that something is seeping in, something is wrong with me, there is a challenge, and begin to speak to yourself. It begins with you making up your mind to address this matter. I believe we have another call. Trust is calling. Trust, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to the show. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, as regarding that lady in question, one thing I will say is that her mind is not mature.
Best partner.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, her mind, she doesn't have a really mature mind as regards to what is bothering her. Because it is a very simple issue for her to tell off that man that is married.
Get him off your back.
Then if so that the man keeps disturbing her, she should report to the husband and put the husband in the picture. The husband will be in a better position to tell that man off. Now, if she wants to resign, if she is the MD or she is the owner of that company, will she resign because the man is worrying her? It's a very simple case. Except her mind is on double edge, that she doesn't know what she wants at all about the case. She's not committed like what the other lady said. She's not committed to her marriage. If she's committed, she will end it right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trust.
Thank you.
Right. Tobi.
Yes, so in psychology, there are two things they say, fight or flight. For some people, they may decide to stay and fight it through, while for some others, scenarios like this make them want to just flee and say, I don't want to be involved in this. But the last caller mentioned something, and I was about to say, is that how is her husband helping? I remember a personal experience I had too. There was this lady that was chatting my husband. She would chat, and my husband sings in church. So after service on that day, she now sent him a message, God bless you, or thank you, it was a good ministration. I called the lady back. I said, hello, and she was saying, oh, hi, how are you? She thought it was my husband. And I said, no, this is not my husband. I know that you're appreciating him and all that, but please do not call this number again. Immediately, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She ended the call. She deleted all the messages she sent that afternoon. And ever since then, we've not seen her and her brake light again. So I think sometimes your spouse may be helpful in bringing...
You tell him, I need your help in this journey. Like,
yes.
We talk to the Holy Spirit. For those that are Christians, for Muslims, they would pray and, ask for help on that journey. If you know what you want, if you want your marriage to work, you put in the commitment to make it work.
We have another caller, Jagbo from Bariga. Jagbo, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Okay. I'm a first-time caller.
Yeah.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Jagbo.
Okay. I've been listening to your program, but my own idea is that woman is a good woman. You know why I think she's a good woman is she's not the type of woman that is in, how do I call it, maybe a woman that is that can be argued with her husband. She's not a naughty woman, and I think she's shy. That is why she wants to close her job. Although she has made a mistake.
We have Yunusa on the line calling from Edo State. Yunusa, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution. Yeah.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Before I started, I have not seen my sister for a while now. I hope she's fine.
Which of your sisters?
What's that name? The one that is from
Nima.
Auchi.
Nima.
Nima,
She's fine.
yes,
She's fine. She's fine.
Oh.
She's fine. Yeah.
I've been following your program for a very long time, just that I've not been called before, so it's my first time of calling.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, and the little contribution that I want to say in this issue is that, like trust, I've already said something. Like me, I've encountered such thing before. So it was the intervention of my wife that made me get through it. So I believe God can still help this woman to get through it, because I'm not resigned because of an ex that they met coincidentally in the same workplace. So I don't advise her.
All
So
right.
if really the something is really disturbing her, at least she should try and involve the husband. If there is any way the husband can help her of it, if really she really wants the marriage. You understand? Because in life, there's nowhere there's no temptation, but it's only left for us to handle that temptation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yunusa from Edo State. We'll look at all of these perspectives now, but any comments?
Social media. So
Yes.
I'm online, and the comments, I'm not saying new comments as of today. Please tweet to us, because I can't seem to
On
find
YouTube?
any fresh
Are there
comments.
comments?
On YouTube,
It was about
no,
the
it's
newspaper.
a newspaper review. That's what people are talking
All right.
about.
Now, let's quickly take some perspective that we have. The last caller, Yunusa, for instance, also in the line with Tobi saying partner intervention. Now, for that, I am wondering perhaps what the conversation or the communication is like with her partner. Do they trust one another such that she can say, CEO, this is happening. I need you to help me speak with this person. I wonder what you ladies think. Yes, because if she is not having conversations with her husband, she wouldn't have went ahead to pick his phone to call the lady. And he trusts her to say, okay, go ahead, take the phone, take my phone.
I took it.
You just did it.
You just did it.
It was after I did it, he was not saying thank you.
You see?
So I mentioned earlier that it's important to have involve your partner, because one of the things that would help a marriage work is trust. It's a foundational thing in the marriage, and she already said that this guy is threatening
Her marriage.
her marriage. So it means that there is also challenge from that perspective. So if you tell the partner to be involved, maybe it will help. There was also the part of the violent situation that maybe you should slap him or all of that. But remember, you're in your workplace. You don't want to be dismissed based on violence, and it will be on your record that you lost your job because you attacked someone. So it might be a conversation with the HR to say, this person is my ex.
Sexual
Can I
harassment.
work can you arrange my work schedule that I will not interface with this person, or let it be known to him that he should not interact with me in an inappropriate way. Yeah, so that is established. So you're setting boundaries to protect yourself,
we
but
have a call.
never resign your job.
Michael is on the line. Michael, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Thank you. This is the first time of calling.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. All right, so I just want to make a contribution for the young lady. I just want to start by saying that marriage, first of all, is a place of discipline, and all decisions go into involve. We understand very well that about.
Michael, your line is muffled. We can't get the meat of what you're saying. If you could call back. But you wanted to say something,
Yes,
Mrs.
I wanted to say, discussing with her spouse, it's not, I like it, but I'm not sure that would be the best option, depending on the temperament, personality type of the husband. Because so many people do not handle issues of X nicely.
Right.
They don't handle it reasonably. They go overboard. So it's not, I wouldn't say you should discuss with your husband because everybody thinks so. How is your husband? What kind of relationship? Is he someone who's reasonable, rational? If he's not rational, you might compound the problem. Then the tone of this message doesn't sound like she's frustrated. It sounds like it's an emotional dilemma. This guy is coming to me, letting me know he wants me, and I'm trying to wade him off, but I don't know what to do. So it doesn't sound like a problem. So what I'd like to say to her is, the strongest power any individual can have is your willpower, not even power of the armed forces or financial or a good name sometimes. It's your willpower. So it's just for her to decide on what she wants. Now, even when this ex is out of the picture, there's still a need for her to fix whatever issues in the marriage because there's some kind of gap that I can see from this write-up.
That was why I mentioned earlier that how do they communicate? Is there trust, which is a foundational thing? Is it there? And that will determine if she can speak with her spouse. But one aspect I think that we need not overlook is the aspect of men going after people's wives.
Yes.
Exes coming for their ex who is already married, something like that. I think, or random guys. I think it's important we not just focus on the woman, but also this person. She's married already. What are you looking for?
Will they hear?
I don't know.
I'm not sure they will hear. But really,
No,
there's some men that just believe their happiness is in the hand of a woman that is in another man's hand.
So I mentioned it, I think so maybe Thursday or I think it was Thursday or Wednesday that
Before you continue, we have Chidi on the line calling from Imo State. Chidi, good morning.
Oh, sorry. So I mentioned that there was a particular scenario where I found myself and I felt like I was questioning myself, like, did I do something to make, like, I'm married. Like, why would you proposition me? And like in the way it was being said, you know, so that was my first scenario with that kind of thing. So I felt really, really concerned. And then Ina told me that, no, there's nothing, it's not you. It's not, he only dates married people. Yeah. Because a married woman will not come and meet him and say, I'm pregnant.
Or I want comment.
So like, that was his clear statement. Like, I only date, he's a married man. And he said he only dates married women. He only cheats with fellow married women. Because they will also be,
cover their tracks.
He said they will not call him at night. They will not call him at wrong time because they are also married. So he had a rationale for such a...
That doesn't make it right.
When I told my husband, I was like, how can you do... As in, if you see his reaction, I say, ma, calm down, calm down.
Angela is on the line, calling from Ijesha. Good morning.
Good morning, this is Adiola.
Adiola, yes.
This is my first time calling.
Welcome to the show, first time callers.
It's a good day.
The way I see it, I will have begged the wife to leave the office because it's not easy dealing with the emotion of your ex. Because the ex may know the weakness of the woman more than the husband. So
because it's an ex, right?
I will tell you to be very, very vigilant. Because there's something you will have done with the ex. I've not ever tried with the husband. And so,
voila.
Adiola, thank you so much. We are laughing at your contribution. Interesting contribution. All right. Yes, Tobi, you were saying something.
Yeah, so I feel that there's the ideal. You know, we don't live in a world where everybody follows the rules. We live in a world where there's perversion.
Of course.
And some people just enjoy doing what is wrong. And in the name of freedom, I can do whatever I want to do. So as much as we would say that, yes, as much as we would say that it is inappropriate for men to proposition married women, or for someone that you've broken up with this person and she has moved on, don't go back to your ex for whatever reason, we will still have it happen. So, you know, yesterday somebody was tweeting and said, no, Tobi, you're making it sound like everybody is a Christian and everybody is... No, some people are not Christians. Some people don't have the same moral compass that you and I have. And as much as we say it on the show, is to educate those that have like a shred or a little bit of morality in them, to remind them that, please, hold on to it. What you're doing is wrong. And we're hoping that we're penetrating people's minds as much as possible, so that if they didn't get that lesson from home, if they did not teach them what is right from what is wrong, maybe your view will not educate them on what is right from what is wrong.
Okay, we have another caller, Paul, calling from Port Harcourt. Paul, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Right. Go ahead.
So much enjoy you people's program this morning.
Thank you very much.
I want to advise the lady, the woman, sorry to say that, this particular issue is very, very difficult issue to handle, but with your own God, you can handle it easily. If she's raped, you know, the marriage can come in different ways, can take you on a way. But at the end of the day, you find yourself, is to work on it consistently. Don't give gap to virus to enter. This guy that is coming as X, they are just like virus. For instance, me and I did the same thing, but for me, I came as a trial. Let me see whether this guy is a true housewife of that particular man, because as to my marriage, I was not ready.
You went ahead to try to test someone's wife because you wanted to know why.
I tested her vividly.
Why?
For me to know that whether when she was dating him, she was a good girl. Because throughout the time I was with her, I didn't catch her with anybody. And he was saying that she's having only me, so I want to try that.
But she was already married.
I tried it.
Why were you testing
no, now
to know?
She's married.
What did you find?
What did you
Yes, the lady said no. She can't continue with him. She has made her mind to be married now, so she can't continue again with me.
So,
and I rewarded her seriously for doing that.
Really?
And I let her know that I just come as a temptation. I want to know true person you were with me and true person that you are now. So, and then I want her to continue with this life.
One quick question. What did you achieve at the end of the day? If she had given you the green lights, what would you have done?
No, I would have not tried it. Because for my mind, I have not tried somebody. Even now, I say I will never ever go after somebody's wife. So I rewarded her after saying no for 3 times that I approached her for touch. And I urge her to continue with that lifestyle. If she continues, she will never get problem with her husband. Because this is the major point in marriage. If there's no trust, your wife going to the market, your wife going to church, your wife going anywhere, you have no thought, you will not get rest at home or at your working place. So let him just bounce seriously on that ex. Let him stay true. If he loves her own marriage. Because this marriage is the peace of you as a human being. If you have peaceful marriage, you can go anywhere and come back without thinking. But if there's this particular issue in your marriage, you will not have rest.
All right. Thank you, Paul, for your call. That's an interesting perspective that you want to test people to know if they are genuine or sincere with their partners. But for whatever it is, let married women be. Focus on your marriage. And then for the lady, seek help if you need help. And especially from your organization, let them know what they can do to come in. We are not asking you to resign. Do what is necessary to save your marriage. That's where we'll leave this conversation. Joining us is a seasoned serial entrepreneur in both public and private sector with a strategic marketing communication background, with almost 25 years experience in brand building architecture, the founder and group CEO of Alexia Group of Companies. Welcome, Dr. Abisoi Fagade. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
It's good to
morning,
have
Veronica.
Good morning.
Morning, Tobi.
Right.
Morning, Ronke. Morning, Tobi. How are you guys doing?
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Nicely done.
Wow.
Now, we had a conversation earlier talking about a hot topic, and we'd like to get your perspective. I know you were listening in on the conversation, and you heard our callers also join the conversation about the lady whose ex is, threatening her marriage. Yes, they work in the same office, the same department, and she's seeking help. What should she do? And then we had a guest, almost the last guest, I think, who said that he also tried or tested his ex to see if she was being genuine in terms of her relationship with her husband. But let's get your perspective on both fronts.
Perspective as a CEO.
What do you think?
Okay. First, I would ask the lady, why would she want to resign? Because somebody's making attempts. You have an HR. First thing is, when you want the person, please, I'm married, and you are sincere about it, can you please stop? And he doesn't stop. Make an official complaint to the HR. I'm under this kind of pressure, and I think you should address it. And I think the HR should be able to address that particular issue calmly and resolve it. And if the guy still persists, who will go? You know who will go already. The guy would have to leave.
Yeah.
So the lady does not have to resign. But if she's still interested, and she's still tagging the guy along, she's got a problem. So, and as the husband, what the husband would say is, leave that company. Why would you want to leave somewhere you're earning money?
Exactly.
At this time when there's no job anywhere. So that's just my own view.
All right. Let's come back to the business of the day. I looked through your profile and I see you wear so many hats. And you excelled, or you're excelling in all of them. That's what one would say. And I'm wondering how you were able to, wear these hats successfully and keep the tempo and keep going in your career in all fronts that you have dabbled into.
Well, thank you. I think more importantly in my life, I believe in just creating an enabling environment for things to strive.
Okay.
I particularly believe that there's nothing impossible if you create an opportunity and people benefit from it. Let's say, for example, there's an opportunity in oil and gas, and I have the relationship to start a company in oil and gas, of which I do right now. I don't have to be a professional person in oil and gas. All I need to do is recruit people, have the management skill to manage them, and they bring their professionalism into play. So that's how I've been able to do it. And shockingly, 2-3 years ago, I realized that after COVID, I realized that commodity is what is reigning. Well, I don't have anything that I'm selling. And I started off a bakery. And today, I think I have 2 bakeries in Ibadan. And it's alarming how much money is being generated from making just bread alone.
It's a staple.
It's amazing. So that's what has been keeping me going. I'm not a baker. I've never done bakery before in my life, but I know how to structure things. I know how to turn things around. I know how to I know how to do scalable businesses. So why can't I just do that in every aspect and create more jobs, create more enabling environments? And that's how I've been able to survive till date.
So I love what you hinged your principle on, which is in solving problems and in providing a platform for more employment for people.
More
and it
the
is
merrier.
something, yes, it's something that I talk about, something I'm passionate about. But I would like you to give us a bit more meat. People watching the show will look at you and think, oh, he's successful. Why won't he branch into something and be successful? What was it starting out in business before you tested the waters, before those network that you had built were able to help nurture the growth that you now have? How was it starting business? Did you have capital? Did you leverage your parental support financially?
Okay.
How was it?
I'll take you way back. Well, it depends on what you call success anyway. I don't think I'm successful yet. I'm still on the path of success.
Yeah.
So
Well.
I would say we are still trying to survive and successful. Well, I don't have a very rich parent. My father was a banker, my mom was a teacher. And I grew up in an average home those days when your father buys a 504, and everybody would say, when you do a housewarming and you call Sonny and all, I'm called musician. I started off my career with D United Foods, Indomie, as just a brand support manager. And then I traveled 36 states of this country in a bus and all these mascots. So I was selling on the street with Indomie. You know, we made Indomie popular in those days in late 90s and early 2000s. So I was going from state to state, shouting Indomie noodles, Indomie noodles. So,
Oh, that's marketing.
well, it's not. It's direct marketing, and
Right.
it's
No, he's
not.
talking about, oh, okay.
It's
No,
not.
but
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Right, you get-
whatever. So, oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot that. So I went to about 36 states of this country by road, doing all those touch points. Yeah, doing all those touch points and marketing a brand. And at that point in time, it wasn't funny. It was just a young man trying to make ends meet. And I realized that I'm actually cut for marketing. So I joined the brand team. From that brand team, I left the company to join another company, which was a telecoms company. I worked with them for about 6, 7, 8 months. Then I now joined a global agency. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the name at that time. So I joined the agency at that time. And I left that agency in 2009 as an associate director. Because I told my boss, I said, this is a niche market. Can we create something? He was like, no, why should we start creating companies? But there's money in this. Because when I go out, people don't know whether I'm doing experiential marketing or I'm doing pure advertising.
Right.
He was like, no, please, let's just keep it that way. I was like, okay, there's an opportunity. So I branched out at that time. At that time, I had just less than 10 million. And I wanted a fancy, if I knew what I know now then, I won't open an office. I got an office, did my office good, you know, like I spent all the money. And the first job I got from a particular company, a multinational company, was about 150 million.
Wow.
Because we were so creative. It was good, but it was a bad thing also. The only thing they gave us was a sheet of paper they call LPO. And why was this young man going to get 150 million from? No bank was willing to give me money. So I had to start running around, you know. My first job as a CEO was successful, but as a CEO, I was a failure. Because I wasn't looking at the financial aspect of it, I was just looking at the creative aspect of it.
Right.
So we did the job. It was one Christmas tree at that time. Some company did it. So it was really rough, raising money. We did that. More jobs came. From there, we got invited to Tanzania to come do some creative job for the same global company. I went there. I ran into more trouble because of finances. Then I realized that I need to go and learn finance for non-financial people. So I had to go back to school. Not school, really, but like go back to learn those things. So there was no money available. I had to keep trying. And the kind of person that I don't believe failure is a bad thing.
No, it's not.
I enjoy failing. Once I fail forward.
Yeah.
I keep failing forward.
Yeah.
I keep failing. So up to this point, I keep trying new things because I feel that it's the only way you can keep yourself going. And I work better under pressure. I feel that it's only when you have challenges that you can strive.
Right, right.
Okay.
And when you solve that, you feel, it's not like what you guys were talking about earlier on. When men start toasting women, they feel energized. The moment they get them, they feel relaxed. So once I get one business stable,
You
I want
give
that.
another one
Once
to
another. Yeah, Toby, go
I
ahead.
see that you've been a consultant to different governors at one point or the other.
Yeah.
Well, my question would be, you know, sometimes they say that you can't get into some rooms if you don't get into politics or if you don't know somebody in power, right? But I see that even before that, you've done a lot of other things, you know, that now maybe properly positioned you for that space. So how was that journey like?
Well, maybe because of my background as an agency person, I believe so much in relationship, and I nurture it. I would die for my relationship. I would keep my relationship. It's very difficult for me to make friends. It's even more difficult for me to lose my friends. So I manage relationship a lot, and I keep my friends closer. And I know that we all have one fault or the other. So I keep managing people. In managing people, it's only your friends that can give you business. People need to know you first before they give you business. So in doing that, a lot of people come with a lot of different kind of proposal. And we've done great things for states, even at the national level. State like Kwara State, we did their logo, and some other things like that. So I feel relationship is key in everything that you do.
All right, Mrs. Fash.
Okay. Thank you so much. I went through your profile. I thought it was huge. Listening to you now, I'm like, how come you look so young? I mean,
but I'm young.
Right. I'm 50
Okay.
now. So.
Okay.
Eh? Stop now.
Okay, so
I'm less than 40, right?
No,
that's a compliment. Thank you.
okay, so I work in the school space, and I know that we have issues with the boy child. We just feel like boys don't like to push themselves. I mean, if you put a boy and a girl on a task, the girl will might shine like 80% faster than the boy. So we feel like girls can multitask, girls are expressive, girls are everywhere. And I'm listening to you, I'm asking myself, were you like that when you were in school? Were you one of the top 5? So that parents and people who are listening would know that it doesn't start and end at getting first position. How did you manage your school stage, and what gave you that push into, because you're everywhere. Yeah, they tell us the left brain can only do one thing, boys can only do one thing, but you are everywhere. You've defied that fact.
Am I allowed to lie?
Yeah.
No. Because my daughter might be watching. So. Anyway, I'm not like a 1 to 5 kind of person in class, but I'm very broad-minded. I see things from different angles, and which is why I would say that our educational system in this country has actually failed. Because if you leave somebody like me just in class alone, I would never excel unless we I'm not an academician. I'm a practical person. So that is where some place where the government also need to focus. We need to change our curriculum and all of that stuff. So talking about girl child being more expressive, and I think it has to do with some family values.
Okay.
These days we have a lot of women that are doing good things and they're pushing, and you guys are always in our faces. Ha! You are always in our faces. Like, and you know, a lot of people react to what they see more. When you see women doing, even if you're not doing great, you make us feel that you're doing great things, and you're more, men are calmer. Our style is different. If you see a man that is doing half of what you ladies are doing, say it's vain.
Yeah.
So we are not allowed to be expressive, which is understandable. But if you have a man and a woman at home, which is why God created in that way, there has to be some sort of balance.
Balance, yes.
When you don't have that balance, that's when you see that prominence. And you have more girl child now than male child. You are training the girls and forgetting that they're supposed to be getting married to.
Okay, I see.
All right.
Please,
let's quickly, before you comment, let's quickly look into the situation on the ground now. Many businesses, SMEs are crying. They are weeping as we speak.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are. In fact, if you look at, you hear Manufacturers Association talking about some businesses saying that they will leave the country if, you know, care is not taken. I am wondering that in spite of all of the challenges, you've been able to thrive successfully, one would say that. And what do you think that SMEs, business owners, can do at this point to manage their businesses and still thrive despite how the environment, the economy is? What can they do from your wealth of experience?
Well, first and foremost, you need to realize that companies are going consign. There are going to be ups, there are going to be downs. So when you have the ups, there's nobody you're sharing it with. When you have the downs, you also need to know how to manage those two. At this point in time, our country is going through a phase of some sort of economical restructuring. And things like this are bound to happen. And for a country that has been plagued with corruption, inefficiency, let me stop at that.
Thank you.
A month, 2 is not enough to structure. We have to go through this phase. And there's a time the business owner should start thinking out of the box. Right now, I'll give you an example at my agency. Instead of increasing salary, one of my agencies, we asked them to stop coming to work every day. Work twice from home, come 3 times a week, and the salary still remain the same for now until we. So you need to think of creative way of keeping your people and solving your problems. All of us are concerned for a country that has been, whether I would like it or not, this country has been surviving and running on corruption. But now that is not happening, we all need to make sure that at least we still remain in business.
Yes.
Till things get better. If you have to cut down on your staff, please do. For example, now I'll tell you that not working from the office has reduced our diesel consumption by almost half. That money is coming back to the company. It's coming back to the agency. Now we are trying to talk to the internet people to say, guys, days that we don't use the internet, can we have some sort of arrangement? It's okay, we can do data buying. So if you start buying data, those 2 days are out of. So you have to continuously think. And you can't think alone as a CEO. Ask your gate man, ask your driver, ask your ideas can come from anywhere. The country is hard, people are making money. During COVID, I can tell you a number of my friends that made billions of naira just working from home. So we are not getting out of this situation in another 1-2 months. So what are you doing as a business owner to make sure that your business you're still in business? You're not, it's everybody, it's not just only you.
Yeah.
And in no time we'll be out of this because I think the government is taking the right decision, the right steps to the right direction. But we need to go through that phase first. Before all this, your ornaments, your glasses look this beautiful, they went through fire.
Of course.
This is our own fire.
Yes,
polishing us. Okay, so I'll take you back into business. And the reason is whenever I talk to, they say success leaves clues. And if you can understand how someone achieves something, then you're able to replicate it. One of the things that you mentioned was, I think that, from my assumption, is that working in a formal place helped to prepare you a bit for business, a lot for business. What would you say, and you've mentioned one of the key things that shocked you, which is finance for a business owner. What other thing do you think entrepreneurs need to know before going into business, before scaling up their business? That's one. And 2, how come your office is in Ibadan, and how has that affected?
I just said bakery in Ibadan. My offices are here in Lagos. My bakery is in Ibadan. Well, first thing you need to know as an entrepreneur is that if you're starting, you're going to a terrain that you have never been to before. You need to constantly keep learning. You have to keep learning and unlearn. Learn and unlearn. And most importantly, you need to be able to research and do a lot of work knowing the sector you're going into. And as an entrepreneur, it's not going to be bed of roses as you go along. There'll be days when you have to cry. And once you are done crying, go back and face those people. We are winning. Every war you have to fight, win or lose, is from here, between your ears. If you can win those wars in your head, you continue fighting. That's when people say that you have strong head. It's not strong head. It's a mental decision that you have taken. That, no matter what happens. You can see that everywhere, even with our politics. You have to, it's not strong head, it's like, it's a decision you have made in your heart. That no matter what comes my way, I'm facing this and I'm just facing it.
All right. Can you ask the question in 30 seconds or 2 seconds? Yes.
So I answer in 1 second.
Yes, because our time is running fast.
I'm just thinking, what's the next phase for you? Because you seem to have been there, done that.
Yes, adding to that, would you want to serve in the public space? Yes, I know that last 2022, you gone for the gubernatorial seat of Oyo State and all of it. But
I don't have all these experiences just to keep to myself. I want to be able to serve and turn things around for this country, and I can't do that from the outside. I can only do that when I'm inside and I'm in position of authority to actually show what I can do. I know I can do a lot better than what we have right now.
Okay, and we can only wish you the very best, as it is.
Amongst you guys.
Keep pushing.
Have you changed the price of your bread?
Well,
Anyway, we need to wrap things
You don't want to say that one. You have, because we know what bread is saying now.
We must thank you, Dr. Abisoi Fakade, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
very
so much.
I appreciate
Right,
that.
before we go, life itself is a story, a recollection of events that shape one's journey on Earth. Do you want to share parts of these stories with us on Your View? This will enable people to share in your experience and learn valuable life lessons from them. You can also get answers to troubling questions and possible solutions to any challenge you're facing. You can do this anonymously or otherwise. Send such touching stories to us on yourview@tvccommunications.tv. Tell us your story today. Share your burning issues with us on Your View on TVC. That's all we can take on the show. Up next is The Beautiful Game. We wish you a lovely weekend. Bye for now.